All right, let's talk about a financial trap that honestly, so many smart, successful people fall into. On the surface, it looks like this super sophisticated strategy, but as we're going to see, it's really hiding a simple and, well, a very costly math problem.
So this all kicks off with a situation that's probably going to feel pretty familiar. We're calling it the $600 problem. And to really get it, we kind of have to get a little personal.
So, just picture it. You're hitting that sweet spot in your career, right? Late 20s, maybe early 30s. You're building something, you've got goals, and you're finally starting to see some real money come in. You're putting in the hours, and it's paying off. You're earning a solid salary. After the government takes its cut, you're bringing home a decent amount every month. You're not being reckless here. You're doing all the right things.
But then, life happens. And that paycheck just gets sliced and diced pretty fast. A huge piece goes to rent or the mortgage. Then you've got the car, student loans, insurance, food, all those subscriptions. You know the drill. It all adds up.
And after every single bill is paid, every essential is covered, you look at your account and you're left with something like this. Maybe it's $600, give or take. This is it. This is the money that's actually yours to play with. And that right there, that's the big question, isn't it? What in the world do you do with that money? You want it to grow, you want to turn it into something more. But how?
I mean, just saving, it feels incredibly slow. And investing in index funds can feel, well, let's be honest, kind of boring. And that's when you stumble upon what looks like the perfect answer, the exciting, fast-paced world of the weekly options market. And you can see why it's so tempting, right? This isn't waiting around for years. You get feedback fast. The price to get it on a trade is pretty low. And, maybe most importantly, it feels like you're finally in the big leagues, playing the game for real, making serious moves.
Okay, but here's the turn. This is the quiet, hidden mistake that almost nobody sees until it's too late. The thing is, this game, it's not really set up for you to win week after week. In a way, it's kind of rigged against the very thing you're trying to achieve.
And this is the absolute heart of the issue. Just let this sink in for a second. Weekly options are not designed to build wealth. That's not their purpose. Their entire reason for existing is to expire. And usually, that means expiring worthless.
See, there's this invisible force constantly working against you. It's called time decay, or theta if you want to get technical. And it's a mathematical fact, you can't get around it. It's this constant, unstoppable draining of your options value as that Friday closing bell gets closer and closer. Every single minute that ticks by, your investment is literally vanishing, bit by bit. Time is your biggest enemy in this game.
Okay, so let's put some real numbers on this. What is the actual cost of fighting this losing battle against time every single week? Because it's not just about the dollars and cents, it's also about the serious mind games this whole thing plays on you.
Let's just run a quick, simple scenario. You decide to trade one weekly contract for about, say, $150. And maybe you do this twice a week on a couple of different ideas. Sounds totally reasonable, doesn't it?
So that's $300 a week. Doesn't sound like a huge deal, right? But zoom out for a second. That $300 a week is $15,000 a year. That is a massive amount of your hard-earned money that's being thrown into a game where the clock is literally designed to run out on your investment.
The real danger here isn't some huge dramatic market crash that you'll tell stories about. No, it's a slow, quiet bleed. It's dozens and dozens of these small, forgettable little losses that you just kind of shrug off and think, I'll get them next week.
So that brings up a really important question. If the math is so clearly stacked against you, why do so many smart, capable people get stuck in this loop?
Well, it's because your brain pulls a fast one on you. It mistakes all that activity, staring at charts, watching the news, clicking the buttons to place trades, with actual progress. It feels super productive. It feels like you're doing something important. But just being busy isn't the same as actually getting ahead.
And this whole thing creates this incredibly powerful emotional trap. A loss? No big deal, because you immediately tell yourself, next week's a fresh start, another chance. But a win? Oh man, that feels like pure genius. You feel like a master of the universe. It feels like skill, even when, let's be real, it was probably just luck. That emotional roller coaster keeps you hooked, but it keeps your bank account stuck in the mud.
All right, so what's the other path? What's the smarter play here? It means making a pretty big shift in how you think about all this to what you could call the marathon mindset.
Let's circle back to that number. That same $300 a week that was just getting burned up, fighting a losing battle against time decay. What if we did something else with it? Well, get ready for this. If you took that exact same money and just put it into a boring, simple index fund and let it ride for 30 years at historical average returns, it could grow to over $400,000. That is what you're leaving on the table. That is the cost. That is the marathon.
At the end of the day, it really all boils down to the question you're asking yourself. The wrong question is, can this make me some quick cash this week? The right question, the one that actually builds lasting wealth, is does this thing grow and compound all by itself without needing my constant attention?
And that leads us to probably the best way to think about all of this. Trying to build long-term wealth using weekly options is like showing up to run a marathon wearing sprinter's spikes. You've got the completely wrong tool for the job. It's a guaranteed way to wind up exhausted, broke, and wondering what went wrong.
Which really brings us to the final thought here. Especially when you're young, your biggest financial asset isn't how clever you are or your magical ability to time the market perfectly. It's time. It's your runway. So take a hard look at your strategy and just ask yourself one simple question. Are you spending your time or are you truly investing it?